Hi, and welcome to Literary Hype. I am Stephanie, your literary hype woman, and today's author chat is we'll call it a double feature of sorts. We do have two authors on today's show. They are Sofia Lapuente and Jarrod Shusterman, who co-wrote this real fun YA thriller called Retro. They wrote it together. So we're going to talk about that, but also you might recognize Jarrod's name. His dad is, in fact, the prolific YA author Neal Shusterman, so we do talk a little bit about that whole aspect of being the son of a very popular YA author. But there's so much more to their story. They are an absolute blast. So here's my conversation with Sofia Lapuente and Jarrod Shusterman. Well, welcome to Literary Hype. Before we get really going, I've got a bone to pick with Jarrod.
Oh, you got a bone to pick. We're picking bones. What's going on? What did I do wrong in a book?
Oh, it has nothing to do with the book.
Oh, okay.
This is from, so we've actually met before.
Yes.
And back in, oh gosh, what year was that? When Drive was, it was a BookCon or Book Expo. Drive was coming out.
Something like that.
And I was standing in a line and you and your dad walked up and your dad asked if people who were reading the book wanted it signed. And so he was signing it. And I asked for a picture and stood in between you and your dad. And then when I got and took the picture, they handed the phone back to me. And by the time I realized you had dipped.
Oh, I left?
Yes, you weren't in the picture. It's just me and your dad.
I had no idea. You know what? That could have been me being a little self-conscious. Like, who would want a picture with little old me? They always want my dad.
That's what I thought it was.
It could have been that, because a lot of people come up to my dad like, oh, you want a picture? And I'm like, oh, I don't want to get in there thing if they're a super fan of this book or that book. Well, we can screenshot this. I mean, this is more than a picture. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I just thought it was so funny.
That's so funny.
And the picture was really blurry anyway. So it was I look at it, I'm like, this is a terrible picture. And Jarrod's not in it, and they're gone. Okay. So yes, let's go ahead and get started by talking about Retro. So kind of introduce us to the book.
Yeah. So Retro is a fun thriller about what would happen if there was a big cyberbullying incident that happened on a social media platform, kind of like TikTok, but we call them Limbo in our book. And what would happen if they came to a school that had this incident and said, we're going to set things right. Why don't we do a 1-year challenge to see if you can make it without your smart technology, and we'll give you the scholarship of your dreams. And there's all these challenges that you have to do, and it's fun, and people are dressing in retro clothes and having a good time. But then it's a mystery as well, because when contestants start disappearing, they realize maybe we have to figure out who's sabotaging this challenge, or maybe we're next. And it's up to all of Luna and her friends to figure this out before things go sideways. And there's twists and there's turns, and we hope you love it.
Tackle some pretty big topics like cyberbullying and social media privacy and all of that. What kind of inspired it, and what are you hoping people take away from it?
Oh man, I mean, there came from a lot of different themes.
Yeah, there's a lot of personal stuff in the book. I feel like, for example, all the part of the immigration and the weight of the family that is immigrant, and if they lose their cinema and their job, they could be kicked out of the country. That's a little bit my story. My mom lives in Spain, but as an immigrant, I have all the weight with the visa, and every time a letter from the government comes, it's like a bad day. So no, what is that? And then I think that there's a lot of personal things like wrestling, for example. Beans, one of our antagonists, is in a wrestling team, and everything that happened to him is because Jarrod was in a wrestling team.
Yeah, I used to wrestle in high school, and I saw people's relationships with, I won't go so deep into what it is, but that kind of relationship with themselves, and I saw that everywhere. And I know it's crazy. So I mean, we had all of these ideas or these things we wanted to talk about, but we didn't want to be too heavy-handed with it. We wanted to make sure this was a fun thriller, but we wanted to include these things. So we kind of chose different characters that could embody some of these issues or things that people are just trying to overcome in their lives. Or there's Luna with her anxiety, with her anxiety, or also dealing with immigration issues. But the main overall message is that this isn't like technology is bad. It's just we want you to question, what is it like with, what is it like without, and then
and then never forget that there is a human being behind any screen. I think that's the really important message, that we need to be kind to each other.
Yeah, we need to be kind to each other. And it all kind of like really started too with like in the pandemic, we were really, it was stressful. No one knew what the hell was gonna happen with the world. So we would come home and we would try to read books or watch shows, and we couldn't do anything that wasn't like Schitt's Creek or like light or happy or fun. And we realized, okay, we want to write a gripping thriller, but this thing's got to be fun. Like it's got to be fun. It's got to be attention grabbing. And there's another element too that was really inspirational for us, was we realized that the biggest advent in technology in humanity has been fire. And then after fire, 300,000 years later, something like that, came the smartphone. And it came in our generation, and it's cataclysmic, and it's totally changed the world. And we include it in YA literature, we include it, and there's the texting, and it's there sometimes. But do we really talk about it? Like, do we really talk about it? And we wanted to talk about it. We wanted to ask those questions, not give you the answers, but pose the questions so you can come up with the answers yourself as a reader.
And I feel like this is a really good book for parents to read along with their teens, to have those conversations. What are you kind of hoping teens take from it, like that they can practically use in their lives?
Well, the first thing, to get out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
We put a lot of emphasis in the friendships. Actually, I would say the main protagonist, Luna, their friends, is not is Luna and her friends, not Luna and the love story, even if there is a love story. And it's like to get out of your comfort zone, like meet people that maybe you prejudging will not do it, because I think that's what is a cool thing about communities, not that you can, I like this K-pop, me too, and then you can connect with someone that maybe you have completely different backgrounds. So I would say get out of your comfort zone. Then what we said, be kind with other people in social media, because you don't know what they are going through. Like maybe you see a perfect life, someone's super confident, but behind there is a completely different story. So don't prejudge based on whatever photo or video you see. I would say that people should take that. And then there is some cool music. I think that because of the playlist of Luna, like every chapter has the title of every chapter is a song. Maybe the songs are retro, so they are from the 80s, the 90s, but we choose music that right now is still trendy. Like we check music that is playing on TikTok, music that in Spotify or YouTube have a lot of views, so we'll say that they can take some good music from it too.
Yeah, and we wanted people to take away, like, learn this new playlist. Like there's a lot of fun songs in here, and there's actually a QR for, I don't know if you know this because you don't have this version. Do you have this version? There's a QR in here, so you can just go to Spotify, YouTube, iTunes, and just listen to all the songs while you read. And if that bothers you, because it would bother me sometimes, because I like to listen to just like ambience, then you can listen to it when you're driving in the car afterwards or whatever, and get you inspired about the book. So yeah, we want people to take away. And we also wanted, we want people also to read it and kind of do what we do, which is like we just go on airplane mode sometimes. Sometimes we're like, let's go retro.
Yeah,
and,
mental health.
For mental health, like we'll flip it on retro. We go retro mode, and it's just like maybe 24 hours, and we put on our away messages to everyone, do not disturb mode for everyone, and we just maybe we watch movies or we take a walk, or just mental health.
Whatever thing not interrupted by an email.
Because it's just, I feel that it's just crazy and insane that we have a device that allows us to be accessible 24 hours a day to anybody ever. We did not evolve this way as humans, and we have this now, this new attachment, and we have to deal with it somehow. So that's kind of how I deal with it. I go retro mode.
Although, as an old person, retro being pre-2000s, I felt attacked a little bit.
Yeah, it hurt me a little bit too in some moments, but retro's technically 20 years, more or less, for pop culture. So they'll call anything retro 20 years. So it's nothing
gross.
personal.
Rude. Just awful.
Rude.
But you already hit on the playlist a little bit. I was going to ask about that. What was your process like for selecting the songs? And did you pick the songs before you wrote the chapter, or how did you go about matching them up?
Oh, definitely rewrote the chapters and then chose the songs that would go with it. Because first the story has to come first. That's cardinal. And then after that, we're like, okay, well, which songs
a fun touch
can foreshadow that people are going to get connected with, or that could maybe misdirect you in a way. So
a sneak peek. A lot of them is like, if you know the song, maybe you will know the vibes of the chapter that is coming.
So yeah, we had a lot of fun with that. And kind of to touch on what Sophie was saying earlier, we went on YouTube and we're like, okay, this song was really awesome for me in the 2000s, but maybe it just didn't take in Europe, right? Maybe it didn't take off in Europe, and then we're cutting off a whole portion of readers who will be reading this book and not connecting with that song. So we made sure to choose things that were super relevant today. And it's crazy which songs maybe we personally would think were big and everyone knows it. And you realize, oh, wait, that one only has like 20 million views, but there's a song by the Cranberries called Zombie that has like over 1 billion. And
I think it's the favorite of every karaoke person.
And it's not my favorite song by them, right? I would think, oh, Linger would be on there better, but no, it's Zombie by the Cranberries. So you learn those things. So we try to make sure that not only are we writing for ourselves, but we're also writing for the readers, right? Because they're not necessarily us and don't have the same preferences.
Do you have a favorite song on the playlist?
Oh, that's a good question. Favorite song?
It depends on the mood. I'll say because I love Wannabe by the Spice Girls. When I'm with my friends going out, I would say that one. But I would say too, I love Smells Like Teen Spirit by Nirvana, because that's a classic. And then I would say Girls Just Wanna Have Fun.
Yeah, for me is I'd say Basket Case by Green Day, because I love that song, and Green Day and 90s Green Day really makes me feel that vibe of the 90s. I have like so many memories with all of that. I would also say Heaven Is a Place on Earth, because the book ends in the vibe. It represents the vibe. It hits it perfectly. And that's what we wanted. Again, we wrote this in the pandemic. We didn't want you to leave crying.
No, we want a happy ending.
Or at least crying with tears of joy, maybe. That's what we're looking for. And then another song I would probably say would be All Star by Smash Mouth, because I just have like great memories with that song.
Solid choices. Choices. There are a lot of really funny lines in this book. Like, one of my favorites is they work less than Tarzan's tailor. Like, who came up with that one, first of all?
And then so all that stuff is Sophie is really Luna. Like,
I'm really Luna Mimi.
Really Luna Mimi, like they are her in that way.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a cultural thing, but it's just the way I speak in Spanish. My main language is Spanish. So then my brain goes through all that, and then I speak that things to Jarrod, and he's like, okay, we're using this. But it's like how my brain goes. And he's like, yeah, people don't say these things here. I'm like, cool.
Some are like translations, but then translated directly. And it's like, oh, I've never heard that, but that's great. Yeah. Like, what's the one with the Coca-Cola in the desert? What's that one?
Oh, like, don't this person think that is the last Coca-Cola in the desert, meaning like thinks that's that important. And it's like, yeah, that's something we say in Spain.
But translated is like, that's funny. Like, I never heard that before.
It's like, okay, let's use it.
So yeah, a lot of it comes from cultural translations, and a lot of it comes from just her personality.
Like, as we say, we work together before in screenwriting. We're screenwriters, so we have wrote comedy. Yeah. So this is not 100% new. Maybe that I know many people that's your taste. If you like that, you like banter and you like comedy. I understand some people didn't expect that, but it's like we like to do it that way. We when we write the scripts, we like that. We like comedy. So our books is always maybe going to be a little bit funnier.
Yeah, I feel like when people jump into retro, they really don't know what to expect, because it's the first time as like debut, partners together writing that people will see like what our style is. And I feel like a lot of people don't know what to expect. Most are pleasantly surprised, but the thing, like, there being comedy in it, it's not something that's so advertised or so expected. I don't know. Did you find that when you were reading?
There's so many lines in it that I was just like, oh, okay.
That's a nugget.
For Sophia, so you mentioned a little bit about Luna is you. What is it like for you to be writing a character from Spain? Like, we're seeing a whole bunch more diversity, especially in YA. What is it like for you to see a character who's like you on the page?
For me, it's finally, like not only from Spain. Luna is a mix of me, but my friends too. There's a lot of my friends there, and my friends are, I have different kind of friends, obviously, but mainly Spaniards and Latinos. That's because the language and the way we are, we are a total match as soon as I came to LA. And I feel like not only represents me, but I know that it's representing many, many people in America, because I'm receiving the love from that people. And I feel like all of it is America, and all of it has a space. Like, no one is just one thing. I feel like that there's been so many cliches in the past of how they had to be the characters, because there were many characters that no one was matching with them, even Americans. It was like, I don't know who is this person, but I don't know anyone in my high school like that. And I think that Luna is real. You can like her more or less, but I think you could believe this person exists. And I think it was really important for me to show the Spanish like the difference between going to a school in English and then at home your mom is Spanish, so you speak in Spanish, or the ways everything, the touch, or the importance of the food, or the importance of being warm, because that's something that in my culture is super present. Like if I say no to my mom for the food that she made, that's a huge crisis in the family. Like I need to eat whatever she cooks for me, and that thing's very important. And it's like, I know, Gloria is intense, Luna's mom, but that's like 80% my mom. So it was like, some people can think it's cliche or not, I don't know, but that's how my mom is, and my friend's mom is. So I wanted to show that things in a cool, funny way. Like there is a space for everyone. So I really enjoy doing that.
You guys wrote this together as a married couple. What was it like working together on this project?
Oh, it was amazing. I mean, we've been writing for, almost since we started together.
4 months after we met.
4 months after we met, we were like, why don't we just be working and writing together? And we started. You learn a lot about each other, right? You have to ask all of these really intense hypothetical questions about where you'd put your characters in certain moments, how you see relationships, so I think Sophie and I have talked about everything. I mean, we've talked about everything. We know our opinions on everything. I think another thing too that was really interesting is realizing too that the differences that we have between us, because we have a lot of similarities obviously, but the differences that we have between us are actually the things that should be cherished in writing, because that's what makes it better, right? For example, different first language, different culture, different religion, different country, different sex, gender, and we are very different in those senses. But then when that Venn diagram comes together, right, of the thing in the middle that we both see clear and agree on, well, we know we're hitting a larger amount of people might agree with that idea as well. If we both think it's good, that's kind of how we see it. So if I have something that I write that she goes, no, I don't see that. I try to convince a little, but I give up pretty quickly and go, okay, let's stop. Let's come up with a whole new idea that we both like. And then we believe by doing it that way, it's more collaborative. You can't tell what I wrote and what Sophie wrote because of what's Luna is Luna. Yeah. Only I can write, I can't write Luna alone. I need Sophie, and Sophie can't write Luna without 100%. Me. It's literally someone who just exists between us. So it was a joy, to answer your question in short. It was a joy, and we learned a lot.
So what was your process like doing it together? Like, I know some people do like whole chapters and alternate, other writing duos do other different ways. What worked for you guys?
We did it together. Like, no, I give you this thing. No, it was really like, first we'll talk everything, like a lot of structure, like, okay, this is going to happen, and then this, and then they're going to this place, and then she's going to feel this way. We need to have it completely clear, like super structure. And then we'll go, okay, Jarrod, you want to start to write this thing while I'm checking this other thing, and now we go together, and then we analyze sentence by sentence, like
every single
yes,
sentence.
No, we need to add a joke here. Here it has to be more dramatic. Here, like we really, really, really analyze.
Yeah, and like there's this.
How do you say this document thing we use? Word.
We use Google Docs or Google Word.
So we can put them together and we can see at the same time what's happening.
Yeah, and we're always watching at the same time in real time. And like she was saying, you'll go into a line and go, no, this isn't, I don't like this, I don't like that, and we'll tinker with every
even
little
adjectives,
thing.
like, no, I don't like this adjective.
Everything analyzed to make sure that it's perfectly a representation of both of us. So a lot of hard work, actually.
What was the biggest challenge of writing with your spouse?
I would say
to keep the spouse life.
Yeah,
I would say that, like, to not go to a romantic dinner and then talking about Luna and Mimi. Like, I would say that was the most challenging thing, to be able to separate the two lives, because super cool to work together, but that's not the same that, having some time, go to the movies or do something romantic. Like, just because you spend 12 hours working, you didn't spend time with your spouse. So it's like,
okay, I mean, even us just watching something on Netflix or taking a walk is very different than the way we'll discuss a chapter, a scene. You have to take care of this email, this thing, and you can't let all of that work be the majority of your relationship. As soon as we get out of public, we're going to be taking some vacation from all of that because it's been a lot of like, hey, this email, this thing, this, and okay, let's edit this, let's get the next thing ready. What did our agent say? All that stuff. So it's that balance. It's definitely a balance.
Did you get any writing advice from your dad on this book?
On this book, we got at the very beginning. So for me, it was like, I want to make sure I do all of this and show my dad at the end, and then see what he thinks, and maybe he'll give some notes and stuff like that. So we wrote the whole book.
God
and then
edit, second edit,
yeah,
third edit,
all their
and the
edits.
fourth.
And then at the very end, it was
One
like,
click before.
what do you think about this? And then, like the jerk that he is, he came with a lot of great ideas, and we're like, oh shoot, we have like a week. We have a week. Those are some really good points, and they were really helpful. So, so I think now we're gonna show him a little bit more here and there, but
still, he got really clear, like, you're doing your thing. Like, this is not even sci-fi. Like, we really did a different thing from him. So he's just more, he talks more like from his general experience than going into specifics, because he told me too, like, listen, I don't have any idea about Hispanic culture. Like, I'm no one to enter there, or this topic, you approach it the way you want to approach it. I'm no one to tell you where to go.
It's not like tips, but it's more like just really brilliant notes that an editor would give you. Like, they can see the problem in a way that maybe you didn't even see the problem, and with giving you a note that doesn't make a bigger problem, but that actually addresses it exactly as it is. So I would say we get really good, like deep, maybe 10, but editorial notes of, wow, okay, that's really, we got to think about that, and then we got to figure out the answer, right? But yeah, he gives really great notes in that way.
What's the best writing advice you've ever been given, and the best writing advice you give other aspiring writers? Because I know that those two are not always the same thing.
Something that Neil said that for me was really important was make sure the characters are real and do realistic things, even if it annoys you, even if it's inconvenient for you, the way they will react, but always try to keep that in mind. Because the difference with the book and the TV show that we learn is that in a TV show, sometimes you don't need to go that realistic. Like, we all have watched Friends, and you see Joey and you go, if really Joey will exist, this man will have big problems, like, if you really analyze, you know. But it's a TV show, it plays, it's perfect. He can be with a turkey in his head and it's totally fine. You can't do that in the book. So I would say that from
and
I received.
Even like in a micro kind of way. Like, for example, imagine you have a senior writing and you go, okay, this is gonna be so cool. The guy's gonna break into the house. So he's gonna break through a window and he's gonna go in the house. But people don't just break through windows, you know, like people do the easiest thing possible. They'll go first to the door and they'll try the door. Even a robber will go to the door and try the door.
To show that,
and
even if you think it's boring and you go, oh, really? We need to make him try. Yeah, you need
and that's an extra paragraph because he has to walk through the other side and he does it and you have to show it. And it's like that on a microscopic level, that on a macro level, that's all over the place. Those types of logic things. And you got to deal with them. And
then an advice that we give.
An advice that we would give. I mean,
I have one really clear.
Yeah, something that I would say is like, it's gonna take you 10,000 hours to get to that point where you feel like you're at a mastery, and you need a mentor. So like, and if you don't have a person that you know, that's fine. Take a book. Everything that's ever been needed to be written in the world has already pretty much been written 10 times over. So go find a mentor in a book. You know, Robert McKee or Stephen King, you know, master classes, and don't be afraid to write something and then throw it away, because the first 50 things I wrote sucked, you know, more or less. So like, that will probably happen to you. So like, write it, and if you have confidence in your craft, then you can throw it away and you can create something better. Don't be afraid to keep restarting.
Yeah, for me, I would say be true to your voice. Don't be afraid to be different. When we were talking, the jokes or the sentences, or I know Luna is a little bit too much, or Mimi can be a little bit too much, or Gloria, and I'm like, I don't know if they are too much, but I lived with other people in the past. So for me, it's original. In my case, don't be afraid to put Spanish. At the beginning, I was like, how much Spanish I can put? Maybe they wouldn't understand. Should I translate? And it was like, no, you know what? No. I'm going with this because that's what I really believe. That is me, that at the end is going to work, that are the readers that I want to read my books should be super okay with having a Spanish in the book. So don't be afraid to be you, because maybe it takes time, but you will find your audience will find you. You will find your audience.
Yeah,
it will happen. Like, don't copy someone. Like, you can push for 20 pages copying someone, but you can do 350 pages copying someone. So I would say that 2 advices. Actually, we are going to start to teach in UCLA, so you can hear more advices.
There's lots of advice to become. We're going to teach a class in creative writing.
Yeah, I saw like Nas is doing some teaching at UCLA too. So like, look at this YA party up at UCLA. I'm moving to California now.
Nas is awesome. Yeah, we actually talked with him about it recently.
He's a hoot. He's been on the show. We actually filmed the interview at Y'all Fest, and that was the best. He's so much fun. And I saw, okay, so since you're writing couple, and I saw you guys giving your arc of retro to David and Nicola Yoon at their panel. Like you were like 2 feet away from me, but did you get any good, like, talk to them about writing advice or like for how to manage being a couple writing together?
Actually, they're going to write together. Now they're writing together, like the same book. We talk, I mean, first thing, David Jung was the first person to give a blurb to Retro. People will see it soon. They are amazing. I feel like for me, it was more talking to them like, how you're this happy after all these years and you're writing. And we really talk about, they agree, I don't know how to explain it, like do happy stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we talked a lot about like there's a lot of important issues, but we both kind of like also vibe on the fact that important issues don't always have to be just stuck in one genre of maybe intense drama, right? You can talk about important issues, but talk about it in even a comedy, you know, or you can talk about them in a thriller or a dramedy or a romance. And especially, you know, issues involving whether it be culture or whether it be just important issues in general.
Yeah. So it was more like, the advice was like, keep it happy.
Yeah, so we kind of all vibe on that, and we have an event with them
the 11th?
at the Rep Votice on the 11th
of February
at 6 p.m. I believe.
Yeah, it's like to celebrate San Valentine, you know. San Valentine.
It's a San Valentine's Day event, so we're gonna find out more nuggets of information from them. We're gonna pick their brains for sure.
What does the writing community mean to you?
Everything.
Yeah, it's huge. It's therapy.
It's therapy. It's everything. Like I think I would have quit if I didn't have them, seriously. Like, because you're alone, you get crazy writing. Like, you're alone with your thoughts and this is good, this is bad. I should change my job, I should change my career. And then you talk with the authors and with even the readers. And it's like, and that's why I do this.
Yeah.
Everyone is so sweet. There is no competition.
Competition,
like, no one is mean. No one has envy. Everyone is happy, genuinely happy if someone else succeed. Like it was, and I feel like we are afraid of our publisher sometimes, or the editor, when the edits come and you suffer with it, and everyone goes through the same through the same stuff, and no one hides it. They are like, yeah, that was tough.
Well, and I remember you were like, when we were writing Retro, like, I don't know how much I fit in this world. I've, you know, like, I don't know if this is for me. And then it was right when we got to Y'all Fest, and it was like, wait a second, there's only like 30 other people that live, at least in the author's sense, like the same exact problems as us, and like they're there. And then it's like, wait, there's all these amazing teachers, librarians, readers who are vibing with us, and they like the same kind of things that we like, and they appreciate what we're doing, and we appreciate the hell out of them. And it's like, wow, there is this world, and
we help each other.
And I think the world's gotten, we do all help each other. Like, there's so much support. And I was a part of it kind of with my dad, but I feel like the YA community changes and grows, and at least coming into the point where I wasn't just like my dad's kid there, but like now being a part of it, totally different experience. And it's amazing. It's now my favorite thing about writing YA is the community.
And we want to say, like, that's why we try always to reply in social media to anyone, because we think it's really important. Like, from I like your book to I didn't like it to writing advice, please, or any author, hey, can you do a Zoom with me? I have these things. Like, 100% yes.
Oh yeah, and on social media we also do all these fun things. Like, if we have want to put a new name in a book, we'll ask, hey, let's do a giveaway of like the name, right? And then all these people put in their name, and then we decide which person's going to be put in the book. And we put like 7 names in Retro of readers and followers on social media. We also do
love
giveaways.
To give arcs. We
give arcs all the time, and we're always there to talk. So just to plug it, TikTok, Instagram at Sofia and Jarrod for everybody listening. And then SOFIAND JARROD. And if you have trouble spelling my name, blame my dad.
I was going to ask you about the social media stuff. You guys have like a hilarious account. So you're writing a book kind of going at social media a little bit, but y'all are very active on social media and the shenanigans. What's it like putting those together?
Yeah, right.
We have a lot of fun.
What a dichotomy. We have fun. I mean, the main thing for us is like Retro is just about questioning and how we treat each other. For us, it's not about like, oh, social media is bad in any way or social media is really good in any way, right? It's just about like, it exists. We all have to be a part of it. It's definitely one of the columns of like being an author these days, being on social media and engaging with fans and readers.
You can even I would say advice for everyone. Like you can ask, hey, do you like more this title or this other title, or do you feel this thing? What is your favorite character? Even with retro, now that is out, we love to hear opinions. Like why you like it, what you wish it was different, what was your vibe. Some people take retro and it's like, yeah, it's a thriller, but I feel like the sci-fi at the end. Other people is like, no, it's a pure thriller. Oh, it's a romance. It's like, we love to hear everyone's opinion.
Yeah, there's so many opinions, and it's like, sometimes
and we have fun doing videos. That's a part. It's a guilty pleasure. Like, we just have fun.
Yeah, we also have a lot of fun, and the point of it is like, and we're doing a lot of promotion of retro now, but it's like we're also excited too, like when the moment ends,
talk about retro and just be us.
Post more like silly things, just kind of do what we do.
And our videos, like photos, advice. Like I feel like we're always there. Or what are we doing? How is something really important for us is to show the bad side too. Like, hey, we didn't sleep tonight, people. We were working until 3 a.m. This has been tough. It took too much time to write this chapter. We feel like it's important to show that not everything is perfect. Because if not, I understand that you're in second year of college and you're like, I'm not the only miserable human being here. Like, it's like, no, we all are some days, like I think it's important to not idealize because
social media has a knack for showing these perfect people. And that was more something on Instagram that you find a little bit less on TikTok. Everybody's dancing and you're seeing like their toilet in the background. Like that's cool. and that's something that I do like about the TikTok in that sense. But yeah, it's we try to just show the real in every way, because we're not perfect, not always 100% happy. We are pretty happy people, but there are highs and lows, and
we show them, and we appear with eye bags like this and be like, we can't anymore, people, we're taking tomorrow off. Like the day off.
What are you guys working on next?
Ooh, lots of things. Okay, little sneak peek. So we're working on our next YA novel together, and it is, I would say, genre-wise very similar. It's fun YA thriller, with a, I would say, like
a little bit
darker, but there's definitely those comedic banter, all of that. We've really kind of found our brand and what we like to do. But this one's a little darker.
Less banter, probably.
A little bit less banter for that reason. Obviously, certain things change because it's a little bit darker. And it's about a dangerous internet game on the dark web. But not like a video game, like game as in like almost like challenges. And it's real, and it's based on a real story. Super dangerous, super creepy in that sense, but also kind of in the beginning it starts crazy and fun, and it's about our protagonist who her brother, who's going through a really dark time, gets kind of sucked in down the rabbit hole into this dark web game, and where you have to do these kind of crazy things, and she realizes, to save him, I have to play the game, I have to do it too. And it's just this wild ride. Starts off as still pretty fun and like thrilling.
But that's the thing. First, it starts as fun because what we want is people to think, maybe I will start too when I see the fun part. And then you realize what happens when you enter the fun part, but then the things go really dark.
Which is the nature of these types of games, these types of challenges. And I know maybe you might know some, or some might pop in your head right now, that do exist. Every like 3 or 4 years, one will come up, and they're devastating sometimes, and we won't say any names because we don't want to give any credence or any attention to any of those things. But we wanted to write something that highlighted that in general, spreads awareness in that way, but also is entertaining and fun. You're going to go on a wild journey. Can't tell you the name yet because we don't know exactly. And we're writing another book that we finished drafting, and now we're just doing a pass on your final notes. And because it's more or less about her life.
Yeah, my life and my friend's life. As an immigrant, when I came to United States, it's all based on truth stories. Everything that happened there is based on a truth story. Even if people feel like, nah, this is not real. Yeah, it's real. That's what is crazy. I really want to talk about visas and how it works, all that system that maybe when you're American, you don't know it well. And it's a dramedy, I will say, because there is a lot of fun and how good it is to have this family that you make because your family is far, and all the different cultures and everything you learn and you become. But at the same time, I want to show the craziest stuff immigrants we have to do and the situations we get put. And some are really fun, some are more sad. What is, when one day your friend calls you and told that they deport him this morning, and you need to deal with that. But then you have a friend that she was learning the Bible because she thought to turn into a nun so she could get a religious visa. Like, you have for real. So you have all these different crazy things.
Life's a carnival.
Life is a carnival, exactly.
And it's like I feel like we've seen a lot of the story, or we've heard a lot of the story of I know of my great grandparents who came over on a boat and they were immigrants, or the family that crossed the border to get here. And it's like, but we don't hear the story of like, what is the girl who flies on a 747 with a 10th generation iPhone or something like that?
It's not only that story. I think that's one of the immigrants, right? Yeah. But then you have the one which is, I don't know, my parents came here and they have me here, but they got deported. So I'm alone, but I'm American, but all my family is from a different country. Or then you have the story of, I got a visa, but this visa doesn't work. It's not enough for to have a life and be able to work and make money. So I'm in between that thing, or you're working to get a visa, or you have a political asylum. Political asylum. Yeah. What is that? Like, there are so many different ways you can be.
Well, I think in general, it's like, what is the modern day immigrant and what do they live through in the modern day, and all of the things that means in the highs and the lows, in the dramedy and the comedy. Yeah. Because like we've seen a lot of that also from a dramatic perspective, but this is a drama. There's a lot of fun in there. There's a lot of found family, but there's also a lot of serious stuff.
Yeah. I've been more than 10 times in the room in the airport, the one that they decide they deport you. I've been more than 10 times. Like, it's enough to know what to tell there. So yeah, it's a mix.
Well, before we get to the final question, was there anything else that you guys wanted to talk about?
Oh, anything else we want to talk about? Yeah. Oh yeah, we want to ask you a question. Okay, just because we're always curious. When you first grabbed retro, what were your expectations, and then what did you get based on those expectations?
You pitched it as like a fun thriller and Riverdale vibes. So I was expecting someone to die, and that's always sad when you expect someone to die and they don't.
Yeah.
Not the first time it's happened to me.
Yeah. You're like, where's the person who's gonna die? Where's the murder?
Okay, have you ever read any Laura Dave books? It's gonna be an Apple TV show with Jennifer Garner. The Last Thing He Told Me. Okay. So they re-released one of her prior books, and I thought it was a new book, which it was not. But also like because of what first one I read was, like, I expected someone to die. So the whole book, I'm like, which one of these people is gonna end up dead? Who's gonna husband and wife are gonna kill each other, and then nobody died. I was like,
yeah. You're like, no. Well, we can promise
this was a waste of my life.
We can promise you in the next one, but there's gonna be some darker stuff happening. Yeah. So have those expectations. Now we know. Okay. Now we know your expectations.
I mean, you have my address, so you know.
We will send you books.
It was a lot funnier than I expected it to be, too. So.
Yeah,
kudos to y'all.
Comedy in there.
And the most fun question of this little shenanigans, because this is called Literary Hype, what books are you hyped about right now?
Ooh, what books are we hyped about right now? Okay, can I give you like a cheap answer? Yeah, I'm gonna give you a cheap answer.
I mean, not retro, don't cheat.
No, my dad has a book coming out that he's just starting to talk about, and I don't even know if it's gonna come out, but it has something to do with a prequel, kind of like in a Star Wars like way, for Sight. Just saying. Yeah, I heard him utter the words, so I will market that a little bit. So yeah, he's thinking about this. Yeah, I would go there.
Okay, and I should go. I have to say one that is kind of going to get published, no? Because Your Father, we don't know yet. Where is it going?
One that will be published. It's coming out soon.
That is coming out soon. There are so many.
There's just so many books.
Like, I know the second one of Agatha's is coming at some point with Catherine Glasgow and Liz. So I want to know about that one for sure.
That'll be good.
I'm sure it's good. The one together, Nicola Jung and David Jung. I really want to know what the two are writing. I hope.
What comes from both their brains?
I will go with the two options.
Is there anything that's out right now that you guys are excited about?
Well,
there's so many.
There's one book that's kind of like, I think is a classic. I think everyone should read. And it's one of the books that got me really like loving YA, apart from my dad's books, was a book called House of the Scorpion by Nancy Farmer. It's sci-fi, but it was like written maybe like 2005. It won the I think it won the National Book Award. Such a great book. Highly recommend House of the Scorpion by Nancy Farmer.
Yeah, and then I will say, depending on what you're looking for. For example, She Gets There. It's just a really comfortable read.
Yeah.
You have it?
Cozy read.
Cozy read, like
cozy read. Yeah,
I do have it.
Okay,
it's right here. I know it is.
Oh,
Yeah.
and then also Sealmates. I don't know
Yeah.
if you know Sealmates by Susan
Susan?
Lee. We have an event with her.
Yes, right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I freaking love Susan so much.
Yeah, she's
great.
actually we
Her
have an
books are
event.
not on this shelf because they're signed, and so this is just my unsigned books.
We have to also plug Gina Chen
Yeah.
and
Adeline Grace,
Belladonna. We have to plug those because we have signings with them this week as well.
And we adore them.
And they're awesome people. So
yeah. There are many. We can continue. You know what it is? We love books, but when you meet the author, you love them even more. I feel like Jason June. I mean, like whatever Jason June writes, we love it. Like it's just when you see the people how amazing they are, you go like, whatever, please, whatever book they wrote, just go and buy it.
Yeah, it's so cool when you meet the author and they're like, I want to read that book that came out of that person.
Yeah.
You know, that's like such a cool entry.
Whatever Cacho, Claribel, Kristen, everything. Just.
And that's one of the best things about like book festivals is like you go to a panel for one author and then you get to hear from a whole bunch of other ones and introduce you to all these other books. Like I haven't read any TJ Klune, but I was at a panel that he was on and he was talking about his next book. And I was just like, sentient robot, I need this in my life.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
Yeah.
A robot vacuum is based on a Roomba that he followed around with googly eyes because that is crucial. But yeah, like book festivals, and y'all were so much fun at Y'all Fest, especially Jared and your flopping. Yeah. You were real committed to charades.
Oh yeah, I was really committed to like what was it? They both die in the end. The charades. I mean, people got
it's
it.
It's really fun. I would recommend everyone to go to the Y'all Fest or the Y'all West. Like they are so much fun.
Oh my goodness, I love Y'all Fest. I'm hoping to be at Y'all West, but Y'all Fest.
We think we are going.
Yeah, we live in LA. So
it's right there for you guys.
Yeah.
It's like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
It was so great talking to you guys. You guys are so much fun. Best of luck with the retro launch.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Have a great rest of your day, guys.
Thank you for everything. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Talk soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks to Sofia and Jarrod for taking time out of their very busy launch week schedule to talk to me about retro. And also thanks them for sending me this signed advance copy of their book to check out. They're so nice. I love them. If you want to get connected with them, he did mention their social media handles. Those are going to be down for you in the box below, as well as links to get their books, where to find me. All the shenanigans and that you need to know are in that box below. So check that out. And while you're down that side of the screen, make sure you hit that subscribe button and like this video. Share it with your friends too. Why not? Thank you so much for watching and have a great rest of your day.